Now to the latest on what's playing out in Venezuela. This is deposed Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro flashing a double thumbs up in a photo obtained by ABC News as Maduro was led by DEA agents in shackles from the tarmac of Stewart Air National Guard Base in New York. Other images obtained by ABC News show Maduro at a Manhattan helipad where he arrived for transport to a federal prison in Brooklyn. Another photo shows Maduro's wife, Cilia, who was also taken into custody. She sustained an injury to her head during the U.S. attack in Caracas this weekend. Maduro and his wife are expected to be arraigned tomorrow in a Manhattan federal courtroom. The former president now facing a 4-count indictment charging him with a 25-year narco-terrorism conspiracy.
Tonight, Venezuela's future is very much in question, and part of that uncertainty is how much the U.S. will be involved in running the South American nation.
Well, yesterday, President Trump said the U.S. will be running the foreign country. He and his team claim the invasion was a legal operation, but as ABC's Matt Rivers points out, many others are disagreeing, including members of Congress who were not informed of the mission.
This weekend's U.S. military operation that captured Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro now leaves many unanswered questions over the future of the country.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
The president, surrounded by his national security team Saturday, providing little explanation about what that will mean. Secretary of State Marco Rubio striking a slightly different tone, saying today the U.S. is running the direction of the country.
What's going to happen here is that we have a quarantine on their oil. That means their economy will not be able to move forward until the conditions that are in the national interest of the United States and the interest of the Venezuelan people are met. And that's what we intend to do.
President Trump, who campaigned on keeping America out of foreign conflict, did not rule out sending in U.S. troops.
We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it. But we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain.
Congressional reaction to the military operation has been largely split among party lines, with some Republicans supporting the capture of Maduro, who now faces federal charges in the U.S., but top Democrats sounding the alarm.
We have learned through the years when America tries to do regime change and nation building in this way, the American people pay the price in both blood and in dollars.
Meanwhile, in a phone interview with The Atlantic, President Trump issuing a threat to Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, who was Maduro's vice president. Trump saying, quote, if she doesn't do what's right, she is going to pay a very big price, probably bigger than Maduro. And the president also indicated to The Atlantic that Venezuela may not be the only place to be met with U.S. intervention, adding, quote, we do need Greenland, absolutely, saying it's surrounded by Russian and Chinese ships. Matt Rivers, ABC News, Bogotá, Colombia.